So, I've wanted to speak about this for a while. I honestly do not fuck with the fitness industry. I do not watch that content anymore. It is demonic slop straight from the ninth circle of hell, probably created by Satan himself. And the reason being is because it is an industry full of narcissistic, sociopathic demons who are more concerned with clout and money than the actual mental health and physical health of the people that they supposedly care about and make content for. Why am I saying this? Recently, Greg Doucette and his, I guess, what's the opposite of mentor? His mentee, his disciple, hold on a minute, let me Google this.
5 minutes later.
His protege. Maybe I should stop making YouTube videos and open up a dictionary, but whatever. His protege, Hussein Farhat. Now, Hussein and Greg have just made absolute dickheads of themselves. And I've come to realize that Greg Doucette is actually becoming a cancerous, dangerous presence, being, entity in the fitness industry space. And his protege, Hussein Farhat, is either as stupid and as crazy as Greg Doucette, or is just being led along by, Greg, who unfortunately doesn't have the wisdom and wherewithal to properly coach Hussein. Now, why do I say that Greg Doucette is mentally ill? Recently, a YouTuber by the name of Scott Herman Fitness uploaded a video critiquing Jeff Nippard for making a video in which he talks about how you can look like you're on steroids while not being on steroids. And he speaks about lighting and picture editing and all of this stuff. And the people he uses to showcase supposedly real naturals is Hussein Farhat and fucking Julian Fitzgerald. Two individuals who are most certainly not natural. He showcases them as naturals. And of course, the fitness industry reaches a point of absolute Jeff Nippard fatigue and says, you know what? We're done with you. You're selling fake naturals to people as natural, claiming that these people have natural physiques and that you can look like them too with a little bit of lighting and editing, which just isn't true. Now, in the comments section of this video, old Greg Doucette comes along and he says this. Greg says, it turns out that Hussein was actually on a 16-month cycle when he first joined the gym, involving a lot of steroids as well as MK677, which is a SARM. And then he hopped off and has a certain type of polymorphism that allows him to keep all of the gains. I was as shocked as everyone, I'm sure, once this video comes out, but I was not a part of it. I did not know that he had done this for the first 16 months of his lifting career. Greg goes on to say, Scott Herman Fitness deserves to be pinned. Posted this on a few videos. The video has already been edited, but I think he's posting tomorrow. We thought about posting it on my wall, but I said to Hussein, you're the one that has to come clean. It's not me, and so it's going on his channel, but feel free to react to it later. Now, when I saw this comment, I knew in that moment Greg Doucette was playing games. Greg Doucette is very sarcastic, he's very entertaining, he's very funny, he is very talented, he's a very good speaker. Okay, I like Greg Doucette. Greg Doucette is one of the most entertaining YouTubers I have ever seen. I love Coach Greg. When I saw this comment, I knew Greg Doucette was fucking lying. I knew Greg was lying about Hussein being exposed. I knew Greg was lying that he had somehow found out some kind of, secret underground bunker steroid cycle that Hussein had done under everyone's noses, but now Greg has found out and is directing his protege Hussein to come clean. I knew he was lying, and my spidey senses were proven correct. Greg Doucette and Hussein Farhat come on social media and post a video in which they basically say, ha ha, we were actually lying about having lied in the first place. We were lying about me actually being on steroids from the beginning. Gotcha. And they completely tank Jeff Nippard's reputation in the entire fitness industry after it was already hanging on by the thinnest of threads at the time. Listen to the mental illness that Hussein Farhat released 6 hours ago. in which he claims that he and Greg Doucette came up with this absolute like 79 level IQ plan in which they're going to lie to the entire fitness industry, claim that Hussein is now going to come clean about his extensive steroid cycle, and then they're going to say, aha, gotcha, we lied about lying. Mind you, Hussein is a year younger than me. He's 23. He's too old to be doing this, and Greg Doucette's pushing like 80 years old.
So this whole thing started with me and Greg training at a gym. We were getting a workout in, you know, I was recording the thing for a vlog, and then he came up with the idea to make a video, essentially just trolling all of the haters, trolling everybody that thinks that I'm not a natural by using their arguments of me not being a natural, like,
he hopped on for 16
months and popped off,
but kept all the muscle,
which just doesn't make sense.
I also had to put on some fat because I'm not on performance enhancing drugs.
His first argument is I wasn't able to achieve it myself, so that's why he's not natural.
Sarcastic video essentially to make fun of them. That was the idea. Greg came up with it, and I was like, yeah, sure, that could be funny. And if you watch it, you understand, all right, this is just a joke, like Greg does. He does those sarcastic videos.
Hi, hey, how are you, Han? Oh, I love you, Mike Israel.
And that was the whole point all the way. A lot of people think that we filmed this video and then saw the backlash and we were like, oh, we're trying to play it down. I literally have clips of me laughing while recording this video. I'll pull up a couple of them here.
And I decided to use steroids for 16 months straight and then stop after that.
Okay. Testosterone, a little bit of Anavar, a little bit of, what was the last one?
Oh, MK677.
The idea was to edit it, post it, and that's it.
These are grown-ass men, bro. Hussein is too old to be doing this, and the fact that Greg is the supposed mastermind behind all of this, bro, Greg, you're too old to be doing this, bro. You're the old head in the room, you're the OG, you're Unc, whatever the fuck term, you know, us Zoomers are using nowadays. You're the guy who's supposed to be the one getting the idea from Hussein. Hussein's the young one. Hussein's supposed to be stupider than you. Hussein's supposed to be the one to say, Coach Greg, what if we... Not that Hussein's voice sounds like that, but he's the one that's supposed to come to Coach Greg and offer up stupid ideas. And Greg is supposed to be the one to say, nephew, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. Funny, cute idea. I get it. I'm a content creator too. We ain't doing that. We gonna get to this money. We gonna get to the bag. We're gonna chill. We're gonna keep our reputations clean. We're gonna keep our reputations and relationships in order. Instead, Greg's the mastermind behind the whole thing the whole fucking time. It's crazy. It's crazy. Now, Hussein Farhat is an individual who was never natural. Hussein Farhat does not have the genetics that match the size, the muscle size he is at right now. Hussein Farhat claims he built like a fucking steroidal physique off of body weight workouts at home. To give you an idea of what Hussein Farhat looked like before he started lifting, this is Hussein a year before he started lifting. Here's another picture of Hussein. Here we have Hussein on the left before he started lifting. He claims in 18 months he did that right there naturally. Anyone who knows anything about lifting knows this is false. He did not do that naturally, and Hussein Farhat does not have the genetics to be as big as he is now. Even in that picture on the right, that's not his complete physique. He's even bigger than that now. Hussein Farhat does not have the genetics to pull that off, especially in the time frame in which he did it. Instead of simply staying silent, not really speaking on whether or not he's natural, and just giving, you know, fitness advice and workout video advice, which he's very good at, by the way, Hussein and Greg, who know Hussein's not natural, are determined to pull any trick, any fuckery, any kind of wizardry and sorcery to try to make this topic as less annoying as it already is. And my thing is like, dog, I don't care that Hussein is on steroids. Frankly, live your life. Do what you want to do. I don't care. The problem is when people lie for personal gain to people who do not have any proper frame of reference to what a natural physique looks like. In today's day and age, young men feel pressured more than ever to look like something that is impossible to look like. Instead of trying to make sure young men have a healthy expectation of what they're supposed to look like, fitness influencers like Greg Doucette, Hussein Farhat, and even Jeff Nippard are destroying the minds of young men day by day by day. Jeff Nippard offered an apology for having Hussein on his channel, and frankly, I find that apology to be as disingenuous as humanly possible. Here's what Jeff Nippard had to say. Jeff Nippard says, incredibly disappointing. I guess this is where you all get to say I told you so. I'll go ahead and take my big fat L for defending Hussein. For what it's worth, I do think this is most likely just a very stupid publicity stunt from Greg to keep people talking about this. Ding, 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 ding. So here we already can tell Jeff Nippard knows Greg's personality. As anyone who watches his show, his channel knows, Greg is a jokester. He's funny, objectively funny. It is what it is. He's a good content creator and he's very sarcastic. If anyone's watched his channel, you know he's sarcastic and you know he's very much capable of these kinds of games. Jeff Nippard, despite having an inkling that maybe Greg was playing, decides to just immediately apologize for having Hussein on. Do you want to know why Jeff Nippard did this? I think Jeff Nippard, allegedly I think this, I don't want any lawsuits, allegedly I believe Jeff Nippard knew from the jump this nigga was a natural. He knew Hussein and Julian's, are we acting like Julian's physique is aesthetic? Who wants to look like that, by the way? We are supposed to pretend like Hussein, who's a fucking liar, and Julian Fitzgerald, who looks like a bunch of fucking, like, I don't know, like fucking, he's got like a fucking high C fucking juice cup build. Like, he's built like a bunch of fucking blocks and like, what is, like, we're pretending like that's aesthetic now? Okay, the fitness industry is clearly more mentally ill than I thought. Jeff Nippard knew that Thing 1 and Thing 2 weren't natural, and that their puppet master at the top, Greg Doucette, was lying. He just wanted to see how long they could all drag this out for and how much money they could make off of it. The moment it seemed like Greg was actually maybe about to expose Hussein, Jeff Nippard basically goes, all right, fuck it, we ball. I'm about to walk away from this. He goes on to say, it doesn't matter at this point because now the people like me, who thought Hussein was probably natural, will join the legion of doubters. I still think Hussein's physique is achievable naturally, even if he isn't. But no worries, I'll still hold my L. Jeffrey Nippard the 20th. Hussein's physique is not naturally attainable for the vast majority of people, if anyone at all. Hussein is huge and has a very, very low body fat percentage. Most people can never look like that. If you want to have a lean body, you're going to have to give up a pretty good amount of muscle mass. Not much, depending upon your genetics and, you know, depending upon your muscle insertions and your bone structure, you still might look full and built regardless of how lean you are. Hussein's not one of those people. By the way, if he was natural, he wouldn't look anywhere near how he does right now. Number one. Number two, Hussein's physique as it stands right now is nowhere near naturally attainable, naturally sustainable. This is what Zoomers call cap. Jeff Nippard, stop fucking lying. Jeff Nippard has to say this because allegedly, Jeff Nippard already knew Hussein wasn't natural. So in order to cover up his own ass, he sits there and says, I still think Hussein's physique is achievable naturally. Stop fucking lying. You have to say this because if you admit that Hussein's physique isn't naturally attainable, then that means you knew from day one he was a fucking fraud, which I believe Jeff Nippard did know this, allegedly. Word of the video, by the way. He goes on to say, this stuff really annoys me because it further feeds into the idea that everyone is a fake natty, which may be closer to the truth than I realized. Get the fuck out of here. And now I really regret including Hussein in my video. This stuff causes harm to real naturals who have earned an elite physique without gear. Bro, fitness influencers are fucking retarded. Like, these niggas need psychiatric help. At least, like, all of them got just dumped in a fucking river of alcohol when they were born. It's like their moms just downed a bunch of Bud Lights when they were in the womb. What is wrong with these niggas, chat? He goes on to say, apart from that, all the science I presented in the videos about what's achievable naturally still stands. Yeah, but that doesn't really matter if you're presenting people who are frauds. If you're presenting people who are not natural in your videos, why would anyone listen to what you say about what's achievable naturally when you're fucking lying and you're presenting unnatural physiques to young men? This is why I don't consume fitness content anymore. I don't watch any of my favorite fitness influencers. I don't watch any of them anymore because almost all of them are on gear, basically all of them, and they're all fucking lying or they're promoting it and making it sound cool. Give up. You know what? The fitness industry is honestly at this point toxic. It is literally dangerous for people's mental health. It is destroying people. What good is it for a man to gain the world but to lose his soul? And that is exactly what the fitness industry is. Gaining all this physical fitness and this amazing body only to have the mind of someone who is being tortured day in and day out. Body dysmorphia, lack of confidence, low self-esteem, constant comparisons to other people who you know are on gear, by the way. This is what the fitness industry gets you. And we're pretending like prickheads like Julian Fitzgerald, who's built like what even is that physique? I don't even know what to compare it to. No one thinks he's natural. Like, let's just stop. And Hussein Farhat, who never had the build. He never was built like a tank. He never had that physique. You can tell when, bro, you can tell when someone has the genetics. He doesn't. Hussein was a stick before he started working out. It is not in his genes to be that big. And even if it was, the majority of people will never look like him to begin with. So why are we pretending like Hussein Farhat, natural or not, which he's not natural, is a representation of what's achievable for the average man? We as men are destroying one another's psyche for an extra buck and a like and a follow. This is weird. Greg is too old to be doing this. For Greg to be giving a young 23-year-old this kind of advice of, let's tank your reputation even more. It's so stupid. Hussein Farhat is not likable. He's not funny, he's not entertaining, he's not personable, he doesn't have much going for him, and the most notable thing about him is he's a fake natty. That is the most notable thing about Hussein, is that he probably isn't natural. So, with that being established, if Greg was a good mentor, he'd say, look, Hussein, you're not a Sam Sulik. People don't just gravitate to you because you are so authentic and so likable and so cool. No, you don't have that kind of vibe or mystique or aesthetic. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep your reputation really clean. We're not going to talk too much about the natty or not stuff. We're going to have you collab with people. We're going to have you do personable, likable content, relatable content. Maybe you could do some gaming. Maybe you can link up with other streamers and content creators. Instead, you get this shit. And on some level, I'm looking at Greg like, bro, what are you doing, bro? You are older than him. You are wiser than him. I'm only a year older than Hussein. Why are you giving Hussein this kind of advice? Why are you telling Hussein to make these kinds of videos? Hussein is destroying his reputation. What y'all did to Jeff Nippard, and Jeff Nippard frankly deserved it because he allegedly knew exactly what he was doing. Why would you do that to Jeff Nippard? Do you know how that makes Hussein look? It looks ridiculous. As the entire industry is coming clean about steroids, Hussein is now the new fucking he's Greg O'Hearn. Now Hussein is the new fucking Mike O'Hearn. That's what Greg is slow walking this guy into. He's a new Mike O'Hearn. It's ridiculous. Greg is too old to be doing this shit, and this is acceptable to people. This is cool to people. But what is Greg doing, bro? And this is what I'm saying. Greg Doucette, bro, has got to be the most mentally ill guy in the fitness game today. Because I'm looking at him, I'm like, bro, you are pushing 60, bro. I don't know how old Greg is, but he's up there. You're too old and too smart, bro. Greg Doucette gives Togi such good advice. I love watching Greg's Togi videos. He gives such good advice. He's the adult in the room when it comes to Togi. But when it comes to Hussein, he just keeps doing stuff that sabotages everything Hussein is trying to build. Everything. I'm sorry, but Hussein honestly seems fucking retarded. I'm looking at Hussein and I'm like, bro, do you not see the shit that Greg is telling you to do is stupid? And why are you bro, just lift. Just make content, just lift, just have fun, just do your thing. Oh, okay, you're probably not natural. You're definitely not natural. Hussein literally sat there and said, I do a genetic test to test myself for, whatever, but I'm not going to do it. It's too expensive to get my genes tested. Hussein is rich, by the way. Hussein could easily get the genetic testing done if he wanted to, and fitness industry fans are so fucking crazy, they'd literally give him money to do it. He doesn't want to get his genes tested. So effectively, what we have here is Greg Doucette basically fucking up Hussein's career. Stupid shit. all they had to do was just say nothing. You're not natural. We all know you're not natural. No one really cares at the end of the day. Just ignore the haters. Ignore the haters. But instead, what Hussein is doing at the behest and direction of Greg Doucette is creating haters, accumulating haters, and turning himself into a fucking meme. Hussein's turning himself into a meme. And frankly, Hussein could be way better than that. But Greg is fucking it up. Greg is destroying his reputation, and Hussein does not seem smart enough to realize when someone's directing him incorrectly. Drama is not good for your channel. Stay away from it. Beef is not good for your channel. Stay away from it. Playing with people's reputations and playing fuck games and manipulating people and lying to people and playing the troll and acting a damn fool is not going to help you. It is not. It is not going to help you at all. It is not. And like, this is the reason why I encourage all young men, we got to go back to the 2000s. We got to go back to the 2000s. We got to go back to the movies we love. We got to go back to those physiques that were somewhat, most of them were naturally attainable. Some of them, not fucking that Thor shit. But we got to go back to the 2000s when physiques were mostly naturally attainable. This social media shit is sick. It's sick, it's weird, and it's fucking up people's heads, it's fucking up people's self-esteem, and all we get in exchange as consumers and viewers is, ha ha, we gotcha, ha ha. No one's laughing, by the way. No one finds any of this shit funny. I don't find it funny. I don't think anybody else found it funny. Greg Doucette, I guess, is laughing. But like, bro, I'm looking at Hussein and I'm like, bro, you're getting your fucking shit pushed in by Greg. Pause. Greg is fucking up your image, fucking up your brand, fucking you up bad, and you don't realize it, G. You don't realize it. Greg is fucking you up. All these games and the manipulation and the fuck shit, bro, it's not to your benefit. Playing games with young men's minds. It's bad enough young men have a loneliness epidemic. Now they got influencers who are fucking playing with their heads, convincing them that non-natural physiques are naturally attainable. By who? Like 1% of the population that probably doesn't even live in the first place? Probably 0 people if we're being honest. And then you get shit like this, where they're just cannibalizing each other. Narcissistic insanity. Insane. Look, at the end of the day, Greg is fucking up Hussein's career. My advice to Hussein is this. I advise you, bro, to just do your own thing. Move away from all this other stuff. Move away from Doucette. Move away from all that other shit. Move away from it. It's not safe for your career. Greg is directing you to do things that are fucking with your career, that is destroying your image, and honest to God, like, you're only gonna end up hurting yourself in the end. Do what fucking David Lade. Everyone with a brain knows David Lade's not natural. But does David Lade play games with people's heads and poison people's minds and fuck around? No. He just posts content. He works out with people. He collabs with people. He's a positive force in the space. Be like him. Be like David Lade. Instead, you got this bullshit. And Greg is the mastermind behind it all. And he's like pushing 80 years old. Oh my God. You know, it's unbelievable. And here's a part, and here I'll finish the video off with this. Greg and Hussein, right, decide to use a video by this girl called Scientific Snitch, in which she talks about how, you know, she might have been used by a fake natty. She's a fitness influencer herself. And she made a video about genetics and so on and so forth, and polymorphism and actin 3 gene and all this stuff. Greg and Hussein use her breakdown of this and totally humiliate her and make fun of her scientific breakdown of Hussein's supposed genetics and steroid-induced physique. And it's like they're just destroying people's images and dousing relationships in oil and lighting them aflame. Like, look at this shit. This is from Anabolic Stick, in which fucking Hussein and Greg torch this chick you know, is followed by a lot of reputable people in the fitness industry.
Birds and a fellow science-based fitness influencer. She posted a reel on Instagram where she reveals she felt bad for Hussein Farhat and reached out to him to offer him a possible explanation he could use for defending his incredibly suspicious rapid muscle growth, namely with a phenomenon called polymorphism, which is what Greg Doucette kept referencing in his original comments. You see, the scientific snitch talked to Hussein extensively in DMs, where she fully thought Hussein was acting in good faith and went as far as to create an educational video explaining polymorphism, which Hussein said he would use in a video that he convinced her would be genuine. What Hussein and Greg then went on to do was just absolutely make fun of the scientific snitch and her theory of polymorphism in their video. Let's first take a look at the reel she posted. Real quick though, before we do that, if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing.
Natty or Nots are silly and ridiculous. I despise Natty or Not drama, but I potentially got myself into a slimy situation for trying to be a good person. Now the information I gave out is being twisted. A little over a week ago, I reached out to Jeff and Greg because I felt bad for all the hate they were getting over Hussein's Natty status. Natty status drama is overblown and silly, and I've had a few conversations with Jeff and Greg, and I think they're nice guys. All I wanted to do is provide some potential insight on the situation to help ameliorate the drama. After talking to Jeff and Greg about the impact of genetic mutations on natural muscle growth progress, I told them about genetic testing, and that was the end of the conversation. Not even a full week later, Hussein reaches out to me and asked me to make a 20 to 30 second long clip explaining genetic polymorphisms. I said okay. The video ended up being 1 minute and 37 seconds long, and I asked him to keep it all in, and he said he may not be able to, and assuming he was in good faith, I said that's okay. Now, as you can see by these screenshots, throughout the entire discourse I had with Hussein, I had absolutely no idea he was planning on outing himself as a fake natural, only to use genetic polymorphisms as his excuse for why he kept his muscle. The entire time I thought this was in response to the conversations I had with Jeff and Greg, and so the entire time I'm saying stuff like, man, I really hate Natty or Not drama, I'm sorry you got yourself into this. I genuinely thought they were potentially making a video on genetic variables and genetic testing. I had no idea they were going to use genetic polymorphisms as an excuse to get out of a fake Natty situation.
Bro, my conclusion about all of this is Greg Doucette is too old to be doing this, bro. And Hussein Farhat, honestly, at this point, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I'm not no hating ass nigga. I swear to God, bro, like, I don't think Hussein is natural, but I still don't wish the worst on him. I don't want his career to fail. I swear to God, like, I'm not a fucking hater. But, like, to go out of your way to do these things to people, to say these things to people, to manipulate people and lie to people and destroy their reputations in this way and think it's funny and try to use this as a way to get out of your Natty or Not drama is ridiculous. Just handle it the way everyone else handles it in the fitness industry and just say fucking nothing. Like every other fake Natty who actually has the maturity to navigate these situations. Instead, Hussein and Greg, I guess they let the pressure get to them, and they decided instead of handling themselves with maturity and accepting the fact that Hussein will always have his natural, status, questioned because he's not natural, instead of accepting that and moving on, Greg and Hussein instead decide to dig Hussein a fucking Hussein-sized grave, throw Hussein in it, and Greg will walk away from this mostly unscathed. Like, he will walk away from this perfectly fine. Hussein is the one who's gonna bear the majority of the brunt of this negativity. Jeff Nippard is probably going to go on to work with Greg again, and the person who loses the most at the end of this all is Hussein, who already is not entertaining, who's already not funny, who's already not interesting. At the end of it all, who actually draws the worst stick of all? Hussein Farhat. Greg, what the fuck are you doing? You're supposed to be a mentor. You're supposed to be guiding this guy in the right direction. And instead you see this stupid ass shit. And you begin to realize, like, this is, bro, Sam Sulek, he could have had another Sam Sulek. Greg could have had his own Sam Sulek. Sam Sulek is honest about everything. He's relatable, he's chill, he's cool, and everyone loves him. Hussein, acting a damn fool, no one likes him. And it's Greg poisoning the fucking well and directing Hussein to do dumb shit. And Hussein, I don't know, maybe he's just like the fame is getting to him or the clout or whatever. But like, Hussein, you got to realize, bro, Greg is directing you to do stupid shit that affects you more than it affects him. I promise you. Greg has personality traits and an ability to entertain that you don't have. He can claw his way back from all of this. You can't. You cannot. You just can't. Most of Greg's videos are entertaining and reasonable, that he has crazy moments like that. You don't have that appeal. So you have to be very careful with the shit that you step in. Make sure when you step in shit, it's an accident and not because you tried to fucking finesse and fraud and finagle people left and fucking right. I don't know what's going on with Greg Doucette, but he needs to apologize to Hussein, explain why what they did was wrong, apologize to Jeff Nippard, even though Jeff Nippard knew what the fuck he was doing, allegedly, apologize to that girl who, by the way, that girl who did that video, I don't know why the fuck you tried to help a fake natural. Stop. The idea that natty or nots are bullshit, this is the reason why natty or nots are important, because people who claim natural poison the minds of young people and get away with it and make a whole bunch of money, and no one talks about how important mental fitness is along with physical fitness. What's the point in having an amazing physique if every single time you look at it, you're unsatisfied and angry and disappointed and depressed and insecure? What's the point of an amazing body if you can't even enjoy it when you look at it in the mirror? That is what's happening. Stop trying to protect people who are frauding. Why? The fitness industry is mental illness personified. I thought political commentary was psychotic. Lord have fucking mercy. This is a different level of narcissism, sociopathy. I mean, you can't even hey, bruh, like the video, comment, subscribe, share it. It is what it is. I'm out.